College was supposed to be the beginning of freedom. Late nights, crowded classrooms, casual conversations, and the pressure to become someone before knowing who that person was. Desire felt endless, direction felt optional, and distractions were treated as experience rather than escape. Youth was used as permission to live impulsively without consequence. During those days, attraction felt like a numbers game. Who noticed you? Who replied? Who laughed at your jokes? Who stayed longer in conversation? Confidence was borrowed from attention instead of built internally. Validation became currency, and most men spent it carelessly just to feel relevant. The body was constantly tired, and the mind rarely quiet. Focus arrived briefly and disappeared quickly. Ambition struggled to survive weekends filled with stimulation and indulgence. Desire dictated decisions, while discipline was dismissed as boring or unnecessary. Weakness was never acknowledged because everyone behaved the same way. Women felt unpredictable then. Interest appeared suddenly and vanished just as fast. Conversations flowed and collapsed without explanation. Men blamed luck, looks, or competition, never realizing attraction evaluates signals deeper than words. Something invisible was always being measured long before emotions surfaced. Masculinity in college was performative. Loud confidence, exaggerated stories, forced charm. Everyone tried to appear important while quietly negotiating insecurity. Attraction was treated as transactional, as if effort guaranteed results. When it failed, frustration replaced exhaustion eventually settled in, not just physically, but internally. Motivation required constant stimulation, and silence felt uncomfortable. Pleasure became routine, and presence became rare. Life was full of movement but lacked momentum, and that emptiness slowly became impossible to ignore. The shift began quietly, without drama or announcement. Patterns became visible. The same habits produced the same outcomes. Curiosity replaced denial, and questions surfaced that no distraction could silence. Something had to change, even if the direction was unclear. Certain men stood out without effort. They spoke less, moved slower, and carried calm into every interaction. Women responded differently to them, not with desperation, but curiosity. Their presence felt grounded, and that difference became impossible to dismiss. Semen retention entered not as belief, but experiment. There were no promises, no expectations, no ideology attached. The goal was clarity, not attraction. The decision was simply to observe what happened when impulse no longer controlled behavior. The first changes were mental. Thought slowed. Focus extended. Urgency faded. Desire remained, but no longer demanded action. Choice replaced compulsion, and that distinction reshaped daily experience more than expected. Energy stabilized rather than intensified. Mornings felt lighter. Conversations felt deliberate. Silence stopped creating discomfort. Something internal reorganized, and the external world responded subtly without explanation. Back on campus, interactions shifted naturally. People lingered longer in conversation. Eye contact held without tension. Women asked questions instead of offering distractions. Nothing dramatic changed, yet everything felt different. Attraction no longer required pursuit. It emerged from shared presence. There was no pressure to impress and no fear of losing attention. Detachment replaced anxiety, not from indifference, but from internal fullness. Women became more curious and more testing. They challenged statements, withdrew briefly, and returned unexpectedly. Previously, this would have triggered overthinking. Now it felt neutral, informative, and manageable. Retention did not create confidence. It removed friction. Confidence surfaced when energy stopped leaking into compulsive behavior. Presence replaced performance, and calm registered instantly in social environments. Attraction revealed itself as a response to convenience. Desire without desperation carried weight. Wanting without needing changed the entire emotional dynamic between people. College culture glorified indulgence, but discipline quietly outperformed it. Men who conserved energy built momentum. Their schedules tightened, goals sharpened, and standards rose. Women noticed direction more than restraint. The body followed the mind. Posture improved naturally. Movement slowed without laziness. Physical presence aligned with internal order. Attraction proved less about appearance and more about coherence. Social hierarchy became clearer. Loud men competed for attention. Calm men received it. Retention amplified this contrast by removing unnecessary noise. Women responded with engagement rather than submission. Conversations deepened. Attraction matured into something steadier, built on perception rather than stimulation. The absence of urgency reshaped communication. Messages were unforced. Silence carried no anxiety. Interactions became authentic by default. Sexual energy transformed into tension instead of release. That tension sharpened presence. Desire stopped being consumed privately and began expressing itself socially. This was not moral superiority or rejection of women. It was conservation with intention. Retention became a tool rather than an identity. Women sensed intention immediately. Men with intention behave differently. Their attention is selective, their time valued, their interests deliberate. Ambition strengthened alongside restraint. Goals replaced fantasies. Action replaced endless planning. Women are drawn to momentum, not potential. Emotional patterns surfaced without anesthesia. Insecurity appeared briefly and dissolved through awareness. Emotional intelligence increased naturally. Female attraction became a reflection rather than a measurement. It mirrored internal order instead of defining worth. Pressure dissolved from interaction. College eventually ended, but the framework remained. Retention taught sustainability where indulgence taught exhaustion. Men who retained were not flawless. They were present. Presence created gravity, and gravity created attraction. Women did not fall for techniques. They responded to consistency. Emotional steadiness outperformed charisma. Masculine polarity refined itself. Direction replaced drift. Attraction became an outcome, not a goal. The nervous system stabilized. Stress tolerance increased. Emotional resilience became visible without explanation. Chasen disappeared. Invitation replaced pursuit. Power dynamics recalibrated naturally. The gaze softened. Observation replaced consumption. Respect was communicated without words. Retention sharpened intuition. Social cues became clearer. Overthinking declined. College once felt chaotic. Later, it felt instructional. Every interaction taught something about energy. Women responded differently to men who were outcome independent. Freedom from need became magnetic. Retention exposed the cost of constant release. Fatigue, distraction, and anxiety were no longer abstract. Discipline compounded quietly. Attraction followed, without announcement. Energy conservation improved every area, not just relationships. Female attraction shifted from dramatic to intentional. Quality replaced quantity. Behavior aligned with values. Integrity replaced impulse. Presence became the strongest signal of all. College taught freedom. Retention taught responsibility. Responsibility produced self-respect. Self-respect produced attraction. Awareness became irreversible. Old patterns lost appeal. Retention was never about women. Women simply noticed the result. Attraction followed order. Order followed discipline. College began the lesson. Retention completed it. A man who governs himself no longer wonders why attraction follows. The answer is visible in how he moves through the world. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know.